A Chinese J-20 locked onto a lone American tanker over the East China Sea. No fighters on his radar, no escorts within 300 miles. The most expensive stealth jet in Asia, sliding toward a flying gas station that could not fight back. The pilot reported a clean picture. He set up for the hero pass. He was already rehearsing his place in history, the first man to sneak a mighty dragon onto an American wing and humiliate it. Then he looked left, and every story about America's decline died in the same second. It is 2026, the East China Sea, international airspace, which means everyone can fly there. China disagrees. Their argument, it has China in the name, so it's Chinese. By that logic, France owns your fries. A US Air Force KC-46 Pegasus is flying a refueling track there at 26,000 feet. It is a tanker, 165 feet of wingspan, a crew of 3, no missiles, no guns, a refueling boom hanging under the tail like a question mark. 2 F-15s topped off 20 minutes ago and went on their way. Climbing out of Wuhu is Lieutenant Colonel Liang Wei, 15 years in the People's Liberation Army Air Force. Spotless file. The kind of pilot the recruiting posters are based on. He knows it too. Tonight he is flying the Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon, China's first operational stealth fighter. The jet Beijing puts on stamps, on evening news, and is in every threat briefing Washington has written since 2017. Liang has been told repeatedly that the J-20 is no longer just an air show toy. He has been told its shaping defeats American radar. He has been told its sensors see everything first. He has been told that if he ever catches an American aircraft alone, he is not the underdog. He is the future. He believes it. He has never been given a reason not to. His radar finds the tanker at 60 miles. It is not hard. A KC-46 has the radar cross-section of a modest office building that learned to fly. One fat, honest return. Straight, predictable. He checks for escorts. The scope is clean. He checks again. Still clean. Ground control at Wuhu comes up on the secure net. One contact. Slow, heavy. No fighters in 300 miles. Liang smiles inside the oxygen mask. He pushes the throttles forward. Now, before we go any further, we need to talk about the jet he is so proud of. The J-20 is not a joke airframe. It is big, long-legged, and fast in a straight line. It carries PL-15 missiles that can ruin a night from well beyond visual range. China spent 2 decades and an uncomfortable amount of other people's intellectual property getting it into the air. And then they bolted canards on the front. Canards are those little wings near the cockpit. They help the jet turn. They also help radar see you. It is the stealth equivalent of putting a pink racing spoiler on a getaway car and then acting surprised when the police finds you. Russia calls this kind of thing almost 5th generation. China calls it the Mighty Dragon. American radar operators call it visible. Liang has never heard that word. He hears the briefing, and the briefing says he is invisible. He closes to 30 miles, 20, 10. The tanker does not turn or climb. The tanker does not even twitch. Inside the KC-46, the aircraft commander glances at the traffic display, takes a sip of coffee that has been bad for 2 hours, and says 3 words on the intercom. Note the time. Nobody panics. Nobody unstraps. The boom operator in the back shifts in his seat and keeps watching the dark water. For this crew, a Chinese intercept is not a crisis. It is extra paperwork. Liang does not know that. He interprets their calm the way every cocky pilot interprets calm. They are afraid of me. He sets up the pass, not a missile shot. He is not here to start a war. He is here to flex China's might. He wants the photo, wingtip to wingtip with an American tanker, close enough that the boom operator can see him smile, close enough that state television can freeze the frame and write a patriotic caption. He rolls in from the tanker's left rear quarter, smooth, professional. The J-20's nose sits just off the KC-46 wingtip, 40 feet, maybe less. He can see the American markings. He can see the boom. He can see a man in the observation window looking at him. Liang holds it. He keys his radio to Wuhu base. On the wing, no reaction. They are alone. Wuhu confirms. His threat receiver is quiet. His radar shows 1 contact. Every instrument in the cockpit tells him he is winning. Every instrument is wrong. He has been on that wing for 11 seconds when the boom operator does something Liang's training syllabus does not cover. The American raises one hand and waves. Not a panic wave, not a warning. The little side-to-side wave you give a neighbor who showed up to the cookout late. Liang stares. Then the boom operator points, not at Liang, across the tanker, to the other wing. Liang leans forward against the straps and looks through the cockpit, over the KC-46's spine to the right side of a jet that is not supposed to have a right side problem. There is another aircraft already there, gray, angular. His radar shows one contact. His eyes count two, an F-22 Raptor. It watched him take off. It watched his entire intercept. It listened to him report an empty sky. Liang's brain does the thing brains do when the floor disappears. He checks his radar. One contact. He checks his threat receiver. Silence. He looks at the Raptor again. Somehow it is still there, 40 feet off the tanker's other wing. Canopy gold in the last light. Not a single nav light. Not a single emission that Liang's jet could see. The F-22 has been in this formation the entire time, which means it was here before Liang arrived, which means it was here while Wuhu was telling him the sky was empty, which means Liang did not intercept anyone tonight. He joined a formation late. To understand how that is possible, you need to know one thing. 41,000 feet above the East China Sea, 15,000 feet above Liang's intercept altitude, that Raptor had been airborne since before Liang's boots hit the ladder. It watched him start. It watched him climb. It watched him push toward a tanker that looks, to every Chinese radar on the coast, like the only American in the sector. The F-22 costs $143 million. What that money buys is not a fair fight. It buys a radar cross-section the size of a marble. It buys an ANALR-94 passive receiver that can sit in the dark and listen to other people's radars from hundreds of miles away. It buys Super Cruise, Mach 1.5 without afterburners, so it can close fast without the heat signature lighting it up like a billboard. It buys 2 F-119 engines and a shaping philosophy that does not include canards because the people who built it actually knew what they were doing. To every ground radar China owns, the Raptor does not exist. Not hard to detect, does not exist. To the J-20's own radar, it also does not exist. That is the part that will follow Liang home. He is flying China's best stealth fighter. The entire point of the J-20 is to be the jet that sneaks. And a jet designed 20 years earlier just did it better against the jet built specifically to beat it. Liang does what every pilot does when the story in his head and the picture through the canopy stop being related. He brakes, hard left, flares, chaff, throttles past the detent. The East China Sea lights up with burning magnesium for an audience of one tanker crew. The F-22 does not chase him. It does not need to. Running from an F-22 is like running from a fingerprint. You can go as fast as you want. It is still yours. Liang extends. He dumps more flares because his muscle memory is a coward. He swings his nose back toward the fight he thinks he is in. The tanker is still there, straight, unimpressed. The Raptor is not on the tanker's wing anymore. The Raptor is on his left side, same altitude, same speed. 300 feet, then 200, then close enough that Liang can see the pilot's helmet in the gold canopy, turned slightly toward him, as if the American is checking whether Liang has finished embarrassing himself. Liang slams the J-20 into a brake turn the manual calls defensive, and his body calls please. The Raptor turns with him. This is the part the canards were for. The J-20 gave up its stealth so it could win with this move. It is not winning with this move. Liang reverses. The Raptor reverses. Liang unloads and runs. The Raptor appears on the other side like a thought he cannot finish. Then the tone arrives. Not a search, a lock. Missile-class radar. High, close, behind. Every warning light the J-20 owns decides to speak at once. The cockpit becomes a nightclub for bad news. Liang's head snaps around. The Raptor is in his 6, not approximately, textbook. The place fighter pilots have been taught to fear since 1915. The American has turned his radar on purpose. He did not need it. He needed Liang to know he lost by a lot. 2 seconds of lock, release. Lock again, release. The Raptor is messing with him. In missile terms, each lock is one more time Liang would have died. Liang's hands are wet inside the gloves. His breathing is a mess. The J-20 is a superb aircraft when the night goes the way the briefing promised. Tonight, the briefing is on fire. The lock drops for the last time. The Raptor slides up on his right wing again as if the last 40 seconds were a conversation and not a near-death experience. Wingtip to wingtip, the American pilot looks over. He does not wave, he does not roll. He does not even give Liang the gift of a dogfight he could later lie about. He just points forward to the tanker, the KC-46, the gas station, the victim. The aircraft Liang came here to humiliate extends its refueling boom, slowly, deliberately, toward the J-20. For a second, Liang does not understand, then he does. It is an offer. The boom operator is asking, in front of the Raptor and everyone looking, whether the mighty Dragon needs gas, because the Americans have done the math. They know his fuel state. They knew it before he arrived. An hour of afterburner and panic has burned his margins down to fumes, and Wuhu is 400 miles away. The only aircraft within reach with fuel to spare is the one he spent tonight sneaking up on. And here is the best part. The J-20 cannot even take fuel from a boom. Wrong system. They know that too. It's humiliation. The boom hangs there, patient, polite. Insult, delivered as an offer. The Raptor pilot looks over one last time. He taps his helmet, meaning, look at this. Then the Raptor drops away, and somewhere between one breath and the next, it is simply not there anymore. Stealth jets do not leave. They stop being. Liang's radar shows one contact. This time, he does not believe it. He will never fully believe his radar again. That is the real damage tonight. The F-22 reached into his brain and broke his reality. No missile does that. The flight home is 400 miles. Liang spends it doing two kinds of math, fuel and career. The fuel math works out, barely. The career math has an F-22 in it, and no equation survives that. Wuhu asks for status. Liang says, returning to base. It is technically true. The way the Titanic reached its final position is technically true. Behind him, the KC-46 finishes its track. The aircraft commander finishes the coffee. It never got better, neither did Liang's career. China says America is in decline, but decline is loud. Decline scrambles late, arrives louder, and bluffs harder. What Liang met over the East China Sea was the opposite of loud. The F-22 was in control from the beginning, and never told anyone it was winning. That is not what decline looks like. That is what a 20-year head start looks like when it stays humble. So here is my question for you. You are Liang. Your cockpit says the sky is empty. Your eyes say there is an F-22 40 feet away. What would you do? Tell me in the comments and subscribe.